Part 13. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 121. I got a lot of good things back yesterday. Today is Tianjun and Yunyun's birthday. Let's have a good meal. After Feng Qingxiu finished speaking, she rolled up her sleeves and got busy. She first cut the large piece of mutton she brought into pieces and cooked it together with the haggis. Then she mixed it with a basin of noodles. She used pure white noodles and put them in the basin while they were awake. Put on the round lid made of sorghum stalks, and then the lunch dishes. Lu's father and Lu Tianjun helped wash rice and wash vegetables, while the younger ones Lu Tianzi and Feng Qingyun made the fire while the other handed things. Aunt Chue, is your backpack a treasure chest? Lu Tianzi watched Feng Qingxiu take things out of the basket one by one, filling the kitchen in an endless stream. Feng Qingxiu smiled, it's not a treasure chest, but it's better than a treasure chest. Chicken, fish, meat, and eggs are all available. Father Lu and Lu Tianjun saw it and were surprised. They had a new understanding of Feng Qingxiu's ability. Which of these things is not in short supply? What a feat it takes to get them all. This is not something that can be accomplished overnight. I have already started preparing New Year's goods, Feng Qingxiu explained with a smile. Father Lu said, you are determined, girl. Even biological children may not treat their parents so well. Braised pork belly, sweet and sour red tail carp, braised pork ribs with radish, duck soup with dried bamboo shoots, braised chicken with mushrooms, spicy and sour potato shreds, scrambled eggs with garlic sprouts, and finally cut the cooked mutton and stewed it with cabbage. The staple food is rice, white rice. The food was put on the table, and while the children couldn't help but swallow their saliva, she made longevity noodles for the birthday boy alone. Tianjun, happy birthday. The longevity noodles were brought to Lu Tianjun and Feng Qingyun. The latter was confused and the former's eyes suddenly turned red, and his voice was slightly choked. Thank you, Aunt Chue, thank you. You're welcome. Feng Qingxiu touched his head. Tianjun, we are a family. If you need anything in the future, just tell me. As long as it is within my ability, I will try my best to satisfy you and Tianzi. You brothers Yu Tu and Yunyun are both children, and we all hope that you will grow up healthily and not be burdened with too many things. Lu Tianjun's face was rubbed against Feng Qingxiu's palm. Aunt Chue, I remember. Who would want to worry if they could be carefree? He and his brother were lucky to have an aunt who was willing to worry about them in such a difficult life. Happy birthday today. The quantity of longevity noodles is not much, a small bowl. The main reason is that Feng Qingxiu just wants them to eat more food. The food was so hearty and filling that even 5 people only ate half of it after the storm. The rest will be eaten tomorrow. After hearing what Father Lu said, Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, although tomorrow is the 29th, it is New Year's Eve. How can we not eat dumplings? I left a piece of fat pork uncooked, and now I am starting to chop stuffing and make dumplings. Come on, let's cook it tomorrow. Okay, okay. If possible, Father Lu doesn't want to wrong his 2 grandsons. After the pork was washed and sliced, Father Lu sat at the table and chopped the stuffing with a kitchen knife, making a banging sound. Feng Qingxiu put the cooked mutton in a separate bowl, poured the haggis into the earthen pot together with the soup, stewed an elbow in the pot, and then put the steamed buns, pancakes, dimes, and fried vegetarian meatballs, noodles and fruits are packed into Lu family's sand pots, clay pots, earthen pots, bamboo baskets and other containers by category, and the remaining flour in the flour bag is placed in the kitchen together with the bag. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 122. After cleaning up, Feng Qingxiu chopped the leeks that had been washed and dried before, mixed them with the fried eggs, added seasonings, put them aside, chopped the washed green onions and ginger, and mixed them with the meat chopped by Father Lu. Continue to chop while filling. Their custom here is to eat meat dumplings on New Year's Eve and vegetarian dumplings on the first day of the new year. Although in Buddhism, leeks and eggs are both small meats, but in the hearts of ordinary people, they are vegetarian. Meatless and vegetarian, it's quite simple. Feng Qingxiu was well prepared to let the Lu family have a good new year. After Lu's father chopped the minced meat, she cut a piece of cooked noodles into small pieces, dipped both sides in flour and flattened them. As a result, Lu's father didn't know how to make dumplings at all. I can roll out dumpling wrappers. Okay, you roll out the dumpling wrappers and I'll wrap them. Feng Qingxiu rolled out a stack of dumpling wrappers before leaving the table. Aunt Chue, let me learn to make dumplings from you. Okay, Feng Qingxiu immediately taught Lu Tianjun how to make dumplings. It doesn't matter if the dumplings look good or not, but the edges must be pinched tightly, otherwise they will easily rot after being cooked. Lu Tianjun was extremely smart. He had never made dumplings before, and after learning from Feng Qingxiu for a while, he was able to make dumplings in style. Some dumpling skins couldn't be pinched on both sides, so he followed Feng Qingxiu and learned to pinch them into lace. On the contrary, Mr. Lu, who claimed to be able to roll out dumpling wrappers, found that the dumpling wrappers he rolled out were not round at all and the thickness was uneven, but they were usable. His family did not pay attention to the appearance of the dumpling wrappers. The three of them worked very quickly, filling a curtain with dumplings and sending them outside. Of course, when freezing the dumplings, I covered them with something to avoid being discovered. First, wrap the leek and egg filling. The quantity is not much, a little more than 2 curtains in total. Once frozen, put it away, and then wrap the meat filling. Feng Qingxiu was making dumplings while saying, "Uncle Lu, it's time for Tianjun to go to junior high school at the beginning of spring, right?" She remembered that Lu Zhang said that Lu Tianjun had a solid foundation since he was a child, but because of his family background, he had been going to school step by step. His performance in school was not outstanding, but he was admitted to junior high school. That's right, exams. Currently, you are admitted only after passing the entrance examination, whether it is junior high school or high school. Composition is a measure of a person's value. In all aspects, whether it is work or education, those with poor composition will always be discarded. It was Wang Zhenqiu's effort, and Lu Zhang was a soldier, that kept Lu Tianjun's studies intact. Through the things Lu Zhang narrated, Feng Qingxiu deeply understood the importance of the quality of ingredients. "Yes, I will go to the commune to go to school in the spring," Father Lu said. There is no middle school in their village, only the commune has one. Because there are many students from 10 miles and 8 villages, the commune has a total of 2 middle schools. Do you live on campus? Although Feng Qingxiu didn't go to the commune much, she passed by the commune when she went to the city or county. She knew the distance between the commune and Wanglu Brigade. It took 40 minutes to walk. Father Lu smiled and said, "You don't live on campus, you live at home. You go to school in the morning and come home after school. You can also do some work to earn work points in your spare time." He had already told Lu Tianjun that he could not stop working because of Feng Qingxiu's care. No matter how few work points you earn, it is still the fruit of your own labor. That's okay. It's more convenient to eat at home. After all, outsiders don't know what to eat at home, so you can't take it out outside. You can only take whole grains to avoid attracting attention. Although people in this era are particularly honest, there are also scheming people. Lu Tianjun pursed his lips and smiled, revealing 2 deep dimples. Seeing him, Feng Qingxiu felt like she saw Lu Zhang. The uncle and nephew looked very similar, like father and son. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 123. After marrying Lu Jiang, Feng Qingxiu realized that after seeing old photos of the Lu family, Lu Jiang's eldest brother and Lu Jiang's facial features, mouth, and nose were 80% or 90% similar, especially the eyes and eyebrows, but the eldest brother Lu was not as tall as him. The younger brother is taller, but Lu Tianjun looks like his father, and Lu Tianjun looks like his mother, so Lu Tianjun and Lu Jiang have a father-son look. At that time, Lu Tianjun told her that in her heart, her uncle was as great as her father. Now he and his brother regard Feng Qingxiu as their mother. Wearing new scarves, they smile all day long. Looking at his grandson's brilliant face, Father Lu felt more and more that Feng Qingxiu had given a lot to his family, far more than anything his family had given to her, so he looked forward to his son returning home to get married as soon as possible and handing over the private possessions to her as soon as possible. Probably, only in this way could Father Lu feel that his family was worthy of her efforts. Feng Qingxiu didn't think it was anything. If she had the ability, she would pay more, and there was no need to worry about it. Compared with the treasures that Father Lu gave her, her contribution was insignificant. After working all afternoon, I finally finished wrapping all the dumpling fillings. Looking at the remaining piece of noodles in the basin and the unfinished dumpling wrappers on the chopping board, Feng Qingxiu kneaded them together again, chopped some green onions, dug out the lard from the oil can, and baked a few scallion pancakes for Father Lu. The grandparents and grandchildren made dinner, and then took out the stewed elbows from the pot and put them in the earthen pot together with the soup, leaving them for the Lu family's grandparents to eat during the new year. Uncle Lu, Yun, and I have gone back. Starting tomorrow, we won't be able to come here for about half a month. In the eyes of the older generation, the new year begins on the 23rd day of the 12th lunar month and ends on the 15th day of the first lunar month. The food that Feng Qingxiu brought was enough for the three of them to eat for half a month, and a lot of food was prepared with this in mind. Originally, they should wear new clothes in the new year, but in this era, wearing new clothes is too eye-catching and can easily cause trouble, so Feng Qingxiu did not prepare new clothes for them and her sisters. When they heard that Feng Qingxiu was leaving, Lu Tianjun and Lu Tianzi immediately showed great reluctance on their faces. It was getting late, and Lu's father made no attempt to persuade him to stay. You have been sending food here during this period. Our own food has not been touched much. This time we have sent so many years of food, so we don't have to worry about our master not having enough to eat in the first few months. Lu Tianzi's face wrinkled and he said, but Grandpa's cooking is not delicious. Therefore, even if there is food at home, he doesn't want to eat it. He likes to eat what his aunt cooks, even pickles are delicious. The child's few words made everyone laugh. Feng Qingxiu touched his face and said, after the 15th day of the first lunar month, I will send delicious food to Tianzi. In the past half month, I have to rely on Tianzi to make a living. Lu Tianzi hummed, nodded heavily, and then said, Aunt Chue, I can't bear to leave you. I will come to see you often in the future. The child's thoughts are the simplest and the feelings generated are the most sincere. It would be nice if Aunt Chue didn't leave. Hearing Lu Tianzi say this in a low voice, Lu Tianjun said with a smile, brother, when uncle comes back, Aunt Chue will live in our house soon. If you are anxious, write a letter to uncle tomorrow and urge him to come back as soon as possible. I'll write a letter to uncle right now. Lu Tianzi's voice sounded louder. This sentence made everyone laugh again, but no one told him that he would not be able to go to the commune to send letters during the new year tomorrow. Lu Tianjun took his younger brother to send Feng Qingxiu out of the Wangla brigade, and watched them disappear from sight before turning back home. The two brothers held hands, one deep and one shallow, and they saw Wang Jiao as soon as they arrived at the bullpen. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 124. Compared to his younger brother, Lu Tianjun is smarter and more worldly, because he will be 13 years old after his birthday. In the old days, he was no longer a child at the age of 12 or 13. In addition, he is the eldest grandson, so he is destined to bear more responsibilities. So in the past 6 months, Father Lu will analyze most of the things at home to him in detail, educating him to know what he knows and not to be trapped by external words. Lu's father didn't tell him about Wang Jiao's covetous love for Lu Zhang, as it was disgraceful after all. But on the day Wang Jiao came, Lu Tianjun came home halfway and heard it from behind the bullpen. So Father Lu told him about the incident, including his evaluation of Wang Jiao. He has no virtue and no conduct, and his character is extremely poor. He knew clearly that Lu Zhang and his cousin were engaged, and yet he was bent on sabotaging it. What else could it be other than a poor character? There is another reason. Father Lu feels that Wang Jiao has a stubborn personality and will not give up her pursuit of Lu Zhang. She will definitely cause more trouble in the future. At this time, Lu Tianjun needs to pay attention. Many times, adults like to take advantage of children. Lu Tianzi is young and naive, so he is the easiest to be exploited. If Lu Tianjun didn't know the truth, he might believe some of the things and words Wang Jiao said just because she was Feng Qingxiu's cousin. He must be made aware of Wang Jiao's personality. Lu Tianjun likes Feng Qingxiu and respects Feng Qingxiu. He has always felt that his uncle's ability to marry Feng Qingxiu is not only the uncle's luck, but also the luck of his grandfather and his brothers. No one can be as kind as Feng Qingxiu, and no one could do what she did, and he wouldn't allow anyone to ruin their family's luck. Therefore, when Lu Tianjun saw Wang Jiao appearing at his home, he frowned and felt very unhappy. As soon as Feng Qingxiu left, Wang Jiao came over. What was her intention? Approaching the cowshed, Lu Tianjun heard his grandfather say in the cowshed, "My daughter-in-law has given us New Year's goods, which is enough for us to have a good year. Take what you brought back, we can't afford it." When Lu Tianjun heard this, he knew that Wang Jiao came here to send New Year's goods, and there was a trace of contempt in his eyes. At present, there are natural and man-made disasters, and materials are in short supply. Wang Jiao's intention in sending New Year's goods is good. If anyone sends some New Year's goods to his family, the whole family will be grateful for a lifetime, but the premise is that there are no bad intentions. Wang Jiao sent New Year's goods with her own little thoughts. Even if a truckload of New Year's goods were sent, he would look down on them and would not accept them. Wang Jiao, who has been willful since she was a child, could not hear Father Lu's rejection and stamped her feet. "I sent it anyway, Uncle Lu, you have to accept it if you don't want to. I'm going back." After saying that, she turned around and prepared to leave, but unexpectedly saw Lu Tianjun and Lu Tianzi. Seeing the two brothers, Wang Jiao's face turned cold and she snorted. She actually rolled her eyes at the two brothers, then she stamped her feet and ran away through the ice and snow, leaving only a backpack she brought with her at the door. When she thought that Lu Tianjun had inherited everything from Lu Zhang, Wang Jiao didn't want to give him a good look. That was the family fortune that Lu Zhang worked hard for. Why should he give it to his nephew? The heir of the Lu family should be the son born after his marriage to Lu Zhang. Lu Zhang was not married in his previous life, but he is reborn in this life. What is it but fate? Lu Zhang was not married in his previous life, so he was not considered a mistress. She would marry him no matter what and give him a bunch of sons before the birth plan. When Lu Zhang has his own son, he will definitely not ask his nephew to be his heir. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 125. Lu Tianjun and Lu Tianzi stood there for a moment, until Lu Tianzi's puzzled questions came out of his mouth. "Brother, why did she come to our house? And she rolled her eyes at us. Ignore her." Lu Tianjun touched his brother's head and led him into the house. Lu Tianzi said confused, "But she is our aunt's cousin. From now on we have to call her cousin, can we ignore her? Don't worry about anything now. After uncle and aunt get married, we can just call you cousin to show politeness. Apart from the title, you don't need to worry about anything else. After Lu Tianjun finished speaking, he thought about it and realized that he didn't understand Wang Jiao's thoughts. Tell your brother. My younger brother is still young and can't speak strictly, so let me and my grandfather resolve this kind of matter. After seeing his grandfather who was cutting sweet potato vines in the shed, Lu Tianjun said directly, Master, the daughter of Secretary Wang's family left a basket at the door. I will send it to the secretary's family in a moment. Okay, you can go alone. Father Lu straightened up and wiped the sweat from his forehead. Wang Jiao's things must not be accepted. Send them to Wang Jiao himself. Wang Zhenqiuo's face will not look good, so it is best for a child to come forward. Father Lu could trust his eldest grandson's conduct. So, Lu Tianzi stayed at home to help his grandfather cut grass, while Lu Tianjun walked towards the Wang family with a basket on his back. After her rebirth, Wang Jiao became even more squeamish. She couldn't do heavy work, and she didn't want to do it. The backpack was not the kind that could hold a lot of things, but was specially made for her by Wang Zhenqiu. It was very light. Seeing Lu Tianjun, Wang Zhenqiu recognized the backpack at a glance and his heart sank. Secretary of the party committee, is this your family's backpack? It was accidentally left near the cowshed. Grandpa asked me to bring it to you. Lu Tianjun took off the backpack and handed it to Wang Zhenqiu. There was no smile or sarcasm on his face, just a normal and calm expression. It was as if picking up the Wang family's backpack was really a coincidence, as if the Wang family had really accidentally lost the backpack. Wang Zhenqiu quickly took it and said with a smile, it really belongs to me. I said I didn't know where it was lost, so you brought it here. As long as it's not the wrong one, Lu Tianjun scratched his head, looking innocent as a young man, then I'm going back. Aunt Chue sent some New Year's goods to our family today, and I have to help Grandpa pack and prepare for tomorrow's New Year's Eve dinner. Okay, thank you for sending it here. Wang Zhenqiu watched Lu Tianjun leave with a smile. After turning around and going back to the house, his face darkened. Wang Jiao! Wang Zhenqiu shouted loudly, and Wang Jiao came out of the room. She was dissatisfied with her father interrupting her rest. Miao Fengqin also walked out of the kitchen and entered the main room. Dad, it's Chinese New Year, why are you calling Jiao Xiao so loud? Wang Zhenqiu glared at Wang Jiao and handed the backpack to Miao Fengqin. What is this? Miao Fengqin saw what was in the basket clearly when she asked, isn't this our family's New Year's gift? With the oil that Feng Qingxiu gave her before, she made extravagant fried radish balls this year. She knew her craftsmanship. In addition to a large bowl of meatballs, the basket also contained frozen dumplings and a few steamed rolls made by herself. New Year's goods. Looking at the backpack again, Miao Fengqin recognized that it was for her daughter and couldn't help but turn to look at her husband. Wang Zhenqiu said bitterly, this is from Tianjun, Lu Tianjun of the Lu family. There was no need to speak too clearly, Miao Fengqin understood it as soon as she heard it. Jiao Xiao, you. Miao Fengqin was interrupted by Wang Jiao at this point, and said impatiently, isn't it just a gift to the Lu family for the new year? Our family doesn't get enough benefits from the Lu family. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 126. Wang Jiao didn't know how much benefit the family had received from the Lu family in total, but she knew it must be a lot, because when she got married in her previous life, the red gold dragon and phoenix bracelet that her mother secretly packed for her at the bottom of the box came from the Lu family. That bracelet is so beautiful, golden, and shiny, inlaid with bright red gems. After marrying into a wealthy family in her previous life, she realized that such a big and red gemstone was very valuable, more valuable than the gold in the entire bracelet. The ruby her rich husband bought for her was not as valuable. It was a pity that she didn't understand it when she was young. After digging out the gems, I sold the bracelet to the bank for only a few hundred yuan. I don't know where the gems were thrown away. Although a mother loves herself, she loves her children and grandchildren even more. What she leaves to them is definitely more valuable than the gemstone and gold bracelet she gave herself. Before she died, she looked back and relived her life. Although she could no longer remember some things now, she deeply remembered one thing from her childhood, that is, before the founding of the People's Republic of China, her mother accidentally said that when she and her father were married, as a gift from the old lady of the Lu family, it is a set of gold-headed noodles, which is particularly valuable. The gold head noodle is a set of gold jewelry. The Lu family is so rich, maybe it is also inlaid with pearls and gems and other decorations. In the previous life, her mother did not give it to herself, so she must have left it to her brother. Thinking of this, Wang Jiao felt it was unfair. Now is the era when men and women are equal and women can hold up half the sky. Why should I only give myself a bracelet but give my brother a whole set of jewelry? Unfair. Unfair. Moreover, Wang Jiao guessed that the family owned more than just this set of jewelry and this bracelet. There is no woman in the world who doesn't like jewelry. Her first goal is to marry Lu Jiang, and her second goal is to get all the treasures hidden in her mother's hands into her own hands, hide them first, and then wear them out after the reform and opening up. They will be jeweled and enviable. Therefore, Wang Jiao felt a little fed up with her mother's demeanor and tone. After hearing what their daughter said, Miao Fengqin and her husband were trembling with anger. The Wang family has received many benefits from the Lu family, so they have been taking care of the Lu family over the years. At the end of the year, there is nothing wrong with sending some New Year's goods to the Lu family. What is wrong is the person who sends the New Year's goods and what this person represents. Wang Jiao wanted to marry Lu Jiang, so she sent New Year gifts to the Lu family. However, the Wang family was completely disgraced. Feng Qingxiu's gift of New Year's goods was justifiable, even though she was the opposite of Lu Jiang. But who is Wang Jiao? An unmarried girl gave New Year's gifts to the Lu family. If word got out, everyone in the Wang family would be talked about behind their backs by their neighbors. Some recent events made Wang Zhenqiu understand how stubborn his daughter was, and there was no way to change it. He could only look at her coldly and said to Miao Fengqin, "After the new year, I will agree to the Zhang family's proposal of marriage." "Okay, I'll tell the matchmaker tomorrow and let them come to propose marriage again." Miao Fengqin didn't want her daughter to keep thinking about Lu Jiang. Although he wanted to marry his daughter off to make her happy, Wang Zhenqiu still chose the best candidate at present. The Zhang family is nothing special. Just like my own family, they were all tenant farmers of the Lu family in the past. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, they were divided into the same groups as our own family. The only difference is that the Zhang family is good at cooking. Zhang Yuejin is the eldest son of the Zhang family. He is honest and works in the county town. Moreover, Zhang Yuejin specializes in killing pigs and selling meat. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 127. Upon hearing the conversation between Wang Zhenqiu and Miao Fengqin, Wang Jiao yelled, "I won't marry, I don't want to marry Zhang Yuejin." Zhang Yuejin, an honest man who couldn't kick anything, was not her cup of tea at all. In her previous life, she foolishly married and gave birth to children for him, but he couldn't let herself wear gold and silver. She would never marry him in this life. She wanted to marry Lu Jiang, become a general's wife, and enjoy the top aristocratic life. "How do you know Zhang Yuejin?" Wang Zhenqiu stared at his daughter. He only mentioned the Zhang family. There were many people named Zhang in the Wanglu brigade. Wang Jiao's eyes flickered, and then she said confidently, I overheard it. Since you heard it, your father and I will tell you the truth. Miao Fengqin also didn't want her daughter to keep thinking about Lu Jiang. Not to mention the status of the Lu family, just the engagement between Lu Jiang and Feng Qingxiu made her. I don't want my daughter to lose that person. Your father and I have fallen in love with Zhang Yuejin. He is honest, steady, and motivated. You have a sweet temper, so you have to marry someone who can tolerate you. Otherwise, how can you live a good life? And the Zhang family's conditions. That's right, if you get married, the family will be separated. With Zhang Yuejin's job, you won't be afraid of not being able to eat meat in the future. Unfortunately, no matter how well Miao Fengqin said it, Wang Jiao was not willing to listen. She covered her ears, stamped her feet, and shook her head. I won't marry, I won't marry, I won't marry. Zhang Yuejin is so good, tell Feng Qingxiu to let her give Lu Jiang to me. I want to marry Lu Jiang. How can a person who kills pigs and sells meat compare to a future general? Miao Fengqin's face turned green when she heard her daughter's words. You don't need to tell her more, this matter is not up to her, Wang Zhenqiu snorted. Miao Fengqin looked sad. That's what you say, but she doesn't want to marry into the Zhang family and she won't cause trouble. The two parties are married, not enemies. Even if Miao Fengqin is a little selfish and wants to find a soft-spoken son-in-law who will give way to her daughter's life, she cannot let her daughter marry into the Zhang family with the intention of marrying Lu Jiang. With such thoughts, life will definitely be difficult. Then you should talk to Jiao Jiao carefully. Seeing the back of his daughter rushing into the bedroom, Wang Zhenqiu was determined to marry his daughter off. She would be 20 years old during the Chinese New Year, so she was considered an old girl. As for whether his daughter would like it or not, it was not within the scope of his consideration at all. He could tell with his toes. My daughter definitely doesn't want to. Feng Qingxiu didn't know anything about Wang Jiao's lifelong quarrel. When she got home, she started preparing dinner for herself and her sister. As for the New Year's goods, they have been prepared for a long time. Feng Qingxiu always had the habit of eating less and light meals at night, so she fried a dish of shredded potatoes and paired it with millet porridge. After eating a lot of meat at noon, Feng Qingyun was not hungry at night. She drank half a bowl of porridge and ate half a plate of sour and crispy potato shreds. After dinner, Feng Qingxiu washed the pot and boiled water. The little girl ran around in the room, looking at the various New Year's goods with her big eyes smiling, including steamed buns, pancakes, meatballs, frozen dumplings, fried fruits, a dazzling array of items. They are all delicious and can fill you up. Feng Qingyun is very obsessed with food, and she feels particularly excited when she sees a lot of food. Yun, come over and take a shower. Why? Feng Qingxiu mixed some warm water, bathed her sister, put on clean clothes, and then herself. Feng Qingyun, who was only wearing autumn clothes and long trousers, got into bed early. Sister, I will cover you with the blanket. Okay, thank you Yun. Without her sister in front of her, Feng Qingxiu took a quick bath, washed her hair, and then applied a layer of lightly scented body lotion all over her body. At the same time, she found that after this period of conditioning, her skin became whiter and tenderer. The water looks like tofu. Looking at herself in the mirror, her face was rounder than when she was on a blind date with Lu Jiang, and she looked even more beautiful. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 128. Beauty is not about being extremely thin, but about having even bones and flesh. Now Feng Qingxiu is too fat if she gains 1 point, and is too thin if she loses 1 point. She has a standard figure. However, the conditioning time was too short, and the energy and blood had not yet been replenished. Although it was 10 times better than before, in Feng Qingxiu's own opinion, her hair was still not dark and thick enough, and her cheeks were not full of blood. You have to continue to adjust, You have to adjust. Good health is most important. So when she got up the next morning, Feng Qingxiu dug out a box of iron yuan from the space, drank 10 milliliters, and then prepared breakfast. Breakfast on New Year's Eve is very simple, consisting of multi-grain porridge and vegetables. The shape of a jiaozi is an enlarged version of a dumpling. The difference is that it is steamed and stored in a sand vat. It has similar properties to steamed buns. When eaten, it is placed in a pot and cooked on a grate. The most important things on New Year's Eve are a dumpling meal at noon and a New Year's Eve dinner in the evening. The dumpling fillings have been prepared a long time ago: pork and green onions, more meat and less onions and ginger, full of oil and water. There are a lot of frozen dumplings at home, but Feng Qingxiu still mixed a new piece of dough and rolled out the dumpling wrappers to make new dumplings. There were 2 full sheets of dumplings, but at noon, there were only 2 large bowls worth of them. Watching the white and fat dumplings floating in the soup, Feng Qingxiu added half a ladle of cold water after the water boiled, and then added cold water after it boiled. After adding cold water 2 or 3 times and boiling it again, she took out the dumplings. Because Feng's father and Feng's mother died less than 3 years ago, they didn't put up Spring Festival couplets or set off firecrackers. After the dumplings came out of the pot, Feng Qingxiu took off a corner of the dumplings with chopsticks and threw them to the ground. This is a local custom and a custom in Feng Qingxiu's hometown in her previous life. It is called ancestor worship. In this era, we cannot blatantly worship our ancestors, so people came up with this method to show their feelings. However, what Feng Qingyun looked forward to the most was the New Year's Eve dinner. The first spring festival after Feng Qingxiu passed through, the preparations were extremely rich. Under the kerosene lamp, Feng Qingyun looked at the table full of delicacies, then looked at Feng Qingxiu, her eyes narrowed with joy. No one would visit her on New Year's Eve, so it was rare for Feng Qingxiu not to vilify herself. The eyebrows are like distant mountain daisy, and the eyes are like clear autumn water. Her skin is as white as mutton fat, and her appearance is brighter than spring flowers. He was also well dressed, wearing a black cashmere sweater, a thin cotton padded jacket, a tartan coat, and a pair of black trousers. His hair was tied into a half bun, and the rest of his hair was draped behind his shoulders. Usually used to Feng Qingxiu's ugliness, but suddenly seeing her true appearance, Feng Qingyun couldn't help but said, "Sister, you are so beautiful. We are also very beautiful." Feng Qingxiu touched her head and said, "Eat while it's hot. It doesn't matter if there's any leftovers from the New Year's Eve dinner." "Why?" Feng Qingyun was puzzled. "Because there is leftover New Year's Eve dinner, it means there will be more than enough for next year." Feng Qingyun immediately picked up the chopsticks and said, "Sister, I've made so many delicious dishes, we will definitely have more than enough every year." The meat dishes include braised carp, sweet and sour pork ribs, ginger braised hen, roasted mutton with radish, and fried bacon with red pepper. The vegetarian dishes include shredded cabbage with vinegar, spicy and sour potato shreds, and scrambled eggs with garlic sprouts. There are 8 dishes on the table. Feng Qingyun's mouth was full of oil after eating, but Feng Qingxiu took some vegetarian dishes and ate only 1 chopstick of each meat dish. The health regimen you are accustomed to can never be changed at any time. On the New Year's Eve, Feng Qingyun had to stay up early, and Feng Qingxiu didn't stay up until midnight. Sleepyhead came before 9 o'clock. After a good night's sleep, as soon as she opened her eyes, Feng Qingxiu was greeted by her sister's words, "Sister, Happy New Year." Happy New Year. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 129. The first day of the Lunar New Year, the beginning of the New Year, is the day to pay New Year greetings. After breakfast, Feng Qingxiu put on ugly makeup and went out with her sister to pay New Year's greetings to the elders in the clan she met without visiting the house. She did this and won a lot of favor. At this time, every family doesn't have enough to eat, and everyone is short of money. How can they get New Year's money? Except for the close relatives and juniors who kowtow to the elders in the family and get a few cents of New Year's money or some snacks. Other relatives and friends only say hello when they go out to meet each other. Although everyone hopes that the younger members of the clan will come to pay New Year greetings to them to show their status as elders, some families really don't have anything to entertain them, and some families are reluctant to let the younger generations who come to pay New Year greetings go back empty-handed. The younger generations are not happy. The elders' faces don't look good either. Therefore, Feng Qingxiu's behavior can be called considerate. After walking around for a while, Feng Qingxiu discovered that the Kahua Brigade did not have an obvious New Year atmosphere. Although there are spring festival couplets praising contemporary great men posted on their doors, and occasionally the smell of meat can be heard, there is no sound of firecrackers, and many people can't see a trace of New Year's joy on their skinny or swollen faces. Having enough food and clothing in the coming year is their biggest New Year wish. Feng Qingxiu wisely told her sister not to tell anyone about her family's New Year celebrations. Of course I know, sister, I'm not stupid, so I won't tell others about the good things we have. What if a jealous person takes it away? I can't eat anything delicious. Hearing this, Feng Qingxiu rubbed her head with a smile on her face. Ghost girl. He he, Feng Qingyun smiled with crooked eyebrows. Xiaoxiu, second Aunt Feng stood in a shelter with plenty of sunlight, grabbed Feng Qingxiu who was passing by, and led her to join a sunbathing chat group composed of nearby men, women, and children. In winter, there is nothing to do and lack of energy. Everyone likes to go out to bask in the sun and chat to relieve boredom. A group of children aged 2, 3 to 10 years old were playing in front of them. Some used slingshots, some threw sandbags, some played with mud, and some played games that Feng Qingxiu couldn't name. Feng Qingyun's eyes lit up, and she turned to look at Feng Qingxiu. When she saw her nodding, she quickly ran to the group of children. Feng Qingyun was beautiful to begin with. Under her sister's careful care, she was dressed cleanly and decently. She was very different from most children who were pitch black, but she was very attractive to children to play with her. Everyone has a love for beauty, regardless of age or gender. People with good looks are always easy to be favored by others. Seeing her sister having fun, Feng Qingxiu listened to everyone's conversation with confidence. Has Hongling given birth? I haven't seen her come out recently. It should be these 2 days, someone asked Hongling's father. Hongling's father was chatting with a group of laborers about the crops in the field. When he heard someone asking about his daughter, he hurriedly said, her mother went to Guangqing's house early in the morning, and I am also waiting for news. In other words, Hongling is growing. After hearing this, the woman who asked the question smiled and said, you can tell by looking at Hongling's belly that he must be a boy. Don't worry, our team has not had any accidents since the 12th lunar month of this year, and the child will be safe. Even in years of famine, new life is always blessed by everyone. Unfortunately, life is not determined by blessings. In the evening, I heard that Hongling had given birth to a boy. Before the two families of her husband's family could be happy, the child died that night. Feng Qingxiu heard about it the next morning. When she heard the news, she was preparing brown sugar eggs to give to Hongling during confinement. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 130. Pregnancy lasts 10 months and gives birth once. Which mother is not filled with the joy of anticipation? When a child dies young, the most sad thing is probably the mother who gave birth to him. As a father and a mother-in-law, I have not experienced the pain of pregnancy, and I have not developed a relationship with my child. The degree of sadness is very limited compared to that of a mother, and I will soon forget about it. Feng Qingxiu, who went to visit Hongling, saw this situation. Guo Guangcheng was chatting with people in the sheltered area at the door facing the sun. There was not much sadness on his face. Guo's mother was also there. Although she sighed, she kept talking about the child being unlucky. She also said that the red water chestnut was useless and that she couldn't save the good one. That was a grandson, weighing 4.5 pounds, and he died like that. Mother Guo patted her thighs and spoke, with only regret in her expression. The people around him heard this and expressed their condolences one after another. Guangcheng and Hongling are still young. Take good care of them. They will be born after confinement, and you will be able to have grandchildren by the end of the year. Let's be open-minded. No one wants something like this to happen, but what can we do if the child is not blessed? Your family is not the only one who died at birth. The third child I gave birth to lasted only 1 day. Yes, my child only lived for 3 days. He suffered from wind and a broken stomach. You all died from the wind, unlike me. The first baby was born with a girl, but in the blink of an eye, my mother-in-law pushed her into the toilet and drowned. The second baby was a girl, and she only lived for 7 days. I don't know why. The window was opened at night, and the girl caught cold and developed a fever, and died within 2 days. Feng Qingxiu was impatient to listen and called Mother Guo, "Auntie, let me see Sister Hongling." Seeing Feng Qingxiu carrying a basket on her back, Guo's mother thought about it, and her face was immediately filled with smiles. "It's Xiaoxiu, are you coming to see Hongling? I'll take you in, she's confinement in the house." Feng Qingxiu thanked her, and when she entered the room, she saw the heartbroken Hongling lying on the bed. When she was pregnant, Hongling lost a lot of weight and her belly looked very big at that time. What a comparison! Now, her stomach was flat, her face was sallow, without any blood, and her eyes were swollen like rotten peaches. She had already heard the voices outside the house, turned her head to look at Feng Qingxiu, and her tears instantly flowed down again. "Xiao Shui." Feng Qingxiu hurriedly sat on the edge of the bed. "Sister Hongling, don't cry, tears during confinement will hurt your eyes." "I know it too, but when I think about my lifeless child, I feel sad." Mother Guo, who was following behind, couldn't help but said, "The child is dead, what's the use of being sad? If you were sensible, just wipe away your tears for me, take advantage of not being too busy at this time, have a good confinement, and then give birth to me a grandson." After Hongling heard this, she immediately didn't dare to say anything and hurriedly wiped her tears. Feng Qingxiu didn't like Mother Guo's attitude very much, and said hurriedly, "Auntie, there are so many people at the door, you can go and do your business. I want to talk to Sister Hongling, and I will advise her to take care of herself." Mother Guo said nothing and glanced at the basket on her back. Feng Qingxiu understood in her heart, but how could she give the things she prepared for Hongling to Mother Guo? Judging from Guo's mother's attitude, if something gets into her hands, it will definitely not reach Hongling's mouth. So Feng Qingxiu pretended to be stupid and asked puzzledly, "Is there anything else you can do, ma'am?" "No, it's okay." Even though Mother Guo was too shameless to ask Feng Qingxiu what she had brought, she went out when she thought that it would be the same thing if it fell into her daughter-in-law's hands as it did into her own.